for once, I really wish that I could make a simple observation about a person of color and it not be labeled as a racist.
Bullshit. Yeah, I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna go ahead and call bullshit. And not that his racial background is any of your concern, but both of Justin Talbot's parents are black. So contrary to what your narrow mind might believe, white people do not have a monopoly on unique eye color any more than they do on intelligence, which is a fact that you drive home on a regular basis. So the next time you get the urge to exercise free speech, by unclogging that verbal diarrhea factory you call a mouth and spewing your partisan bullshit all over this studio, do us all a favor and shut the hell up, you ill-mannered, overprivileged, undereducated simpleton. Shut up!
So another episode of Being Mary Jane, and in this one, feeling friendless. Mary Jane doesn't have a whole lot of friends in this episode and ends up going off on the correspondent, Danny, in such a way that sort of puts her job in jeopardy.
Right.
And Aaliyah is the one that has to sort of put out the fire and do some crisis management on this. But I think, you know, we all have been in that situation where we wanted to say something, but probably didn't.
Absolutely. That is why publicists exist. And I feel like I can really relate to the experience of that moment, having gone to like a PWI, predominantly white institution, constantly dealing with, you know, conversation that is really inappropriate and racially insensitive, and wanting to say something but not being able to. And I think Danny is the type of person who represents that person, the young lady who's clueless and doesn't understand how very simple microaggressions can really like affect a person.
You are too young to have ever encountered real racism. Once you've lived a little, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Please. Girl, I grew up on the south side of Chicago and moved to Boston, which is like traveling back in time to 1842. I know racism, but I have a trick to help me bite my tongue.
I don't need any tricks.
Really? Because you could have gotten yourself fired for that clap back at Danny. If you don't figure out a way to be civil to this woman, it's your image that suffers, not hers.
Point taken. Oh God, what now?
Oh, it's not work related. I'm going to see Chance the Rapper tonight.
Wow, I didn't even know he was performing.
Yeah, secret show in Brooklyn. He dropped a hint about it on Once-A-Gwan.
Oh, you're taking your man?
Nah, just some friends.
Okay. Well, you know, I have never seen him live. That would be amazing.
Girl, you have no idea.
Well, you know what? Go have a good time.
Thanks. You know what? If you need help with the apology, just give me a call, okay?
Mary Jane may have had this idea that because Aaliyah is very young and, you know, of a different generation, the post-Obama, there's no racism generation, that she doesn't get it. But Aaliyah, she says something like, I'm from the south side of Chicago and I moved to Boston, I know racism. I think that was the moment where it was like, okay, she gets it. That's where they had some type of commonality. I think it's so great to show on camera how two women of color from different generations can come together and really work well together, because there are things that Aaliyah as a PR person helps Mary Jane overcome with the whole, like, you know, having the mantra, which I think everybody needs. Like, everyone needs a mantra in a work environment. And then Mary Jane being able to give her wisdom as well. So I think it'll be really interesting to see how their relationship evolves.
I think so too. That's something that we definitely talked a lot about in the writer's room. And one of the things that we found interesting is that Aaliyah sort of misses some of Mary Jane's cues.
Right.
Because she thinks of Mary Jane as, well, she's the anchor of the show. Like, she's the star. She's, you know, older than I am. And she already has her network and she has her people. So it just doesn't even, like, cross her mind that Mary Jane may want to form an actual, you know, friendship with her. So she misses several cues throughout this episode.
A lot.
Yeah.
I think about it just on a friendship level, but also in terms of relationships. Like, how many times have we missed cues just even on a I think this person was trying to talk to me, but I'm not really sure. So I thought that you guys really captured that very well.
But a movement is many things. And as we move forward, it's important to remember that we take the truth with us everywhere, to the dinner table, in our schools, in our churches.
Nah, what we need is a real leader.
Yeah. Thank you, Patrick Patterson, for the invitation today.
What's your name, man?
Javon,
Look like you had an issue with today's speech.
it's still a free country, right?
Yeah, if we stay vigilant, it'll stay that way. But there's a right way and a wrong way to voice opposition.
Nah, I get it. But you think I'm just some thug you can school about tactics, right?
No. I'd actually like to hear what you have to say. No, I would. How about we go grab a bite to eat and we can talk about it? Get some real food.
We have Patrick. We really get to see him in his element with, working with Black Lives Matter and just sort of being a community activist. We had DeRay McKesson in this particular episode. One of the issues that we brought up is that he meets Javon, who has a problem with DeRay's sexuality. And Patrick, instead of sort of condemning Javon and, lecturing him, he actually tries to sit down with him and,
I think this whole thing with Niecy and her case and the suit and what's happened to the family since then has definitely forced Patrick to step out of his shell and actually be a force, try to be a force for good and to try to influence the community in a positive way.
Right.
And just step up, take the mic, say something, really voice his opinion. So, and also I thought it was great too, because with Javon, I don't know if we've really seen that much of a dynamic of Patrick with another young man. It's always with Niecy and with the daughters and things like that. So it's interesting to have an older man with a younger man, and we're trying to not school him, but to just sort of bridge the gap of the generation gap and how he approaches the world right now. See it from his point of view.
Yeah, so we kind of had that on both in New York with Mary Jane and Patrick. They were kind of, similar lessons and bridging a sort of generational kind of gap with Mary Jane with Aaliyah and Patrick with Javon, in Atlanta. So it's interesting that they were in their own spheres, but kind of on the same kind of path.
Right.
And so Javon will return and come back, and we'll get to see more of that relationship, and we'll get to see more of what's going on with Aaliyah and Mary Jane as well, and see where those relationships go, in the next few episodes.